Become Indiana Jones this weekend and get to explore the cradle of humankind. Get to know where we come from and how we're all connected, as well as learn about the new human fossil discovery made by Professor Lee Berger and his team at the Rising Star Caves. Take a look.
People should care about the story of things like Little Letty and all the story of human evolution because it's our story. It's no different than understanding who our parents were or grandparents were. No one would ask, why would you want to know that? In this deep, dark, remote passage, we discovered a beautiful skull of a child. And this is a reconstruction of that child. So there are two critical aspects. This is the first time that we have actually found the skull of a child, the sort of parts of the bony parts of a child like this, and parts of the dentition of the same individual, both deciduous and permanent, that is baby teeth and adult teeth as they emerge. That gives us an idea of looking at how those parts interacted and gives us an idea of how Homo naledi children grew and developed. That tells us something about the way they lived in the world, how they perhaps cared about their offspring, what stresses they were going under. Those are critically important scientific discoveries. Then there's the second part, the kind of emotive part. We found little Letty alone. Little Letty was alone 12 meters away, and that doesn't sound like a lot, but 12 exhausting, terrible, some of the hardest 12 meters you could ever find on or under the ground of this planet, away from where all the other Naledi were, and just her skull. Her skull appears to have been moved to that position while it was a skull, not with her body, not with her jaw, the things you would normally find. So she didn't crawl there and die. You would find the preservation of her body. She doesn't appear to have been taken there by a scavenger or predator. There are no marks of that. She didn't wash in there. We can see that from the sediments. And so it leaves us with one of those beautiful mysteries of deep history. Why is that skull of this little child there? And it's left us, even as scientists, with the wonder, was it placed on that ledge maybe 250,000 years ago by someone who cared? That's a mystery we can't answer right now, and that might be going a little bit too far, but I think that with the work and discoveries that we're doing right now, we may have clearer answers to that in the future.
Being a Joburger, born and raised, and this is at the back of my yard, it's incredible. I am contributing to refining the story of human evolution, the journey.
Rising Star Cave is already the single richest place for the evidence of ancient human origins and ancient hominid origins on the continent of Africa. It might rival being the richest site in the world, and it's all Homo naledi in these incredible situations, in these chambers and passages. We found more individual fossils of Homo naledi in the past 7 years alone than the entire history of the search for human origins on the whole continent of Africa. That's pretty amazing. And we've left thousands of remains down there. We've left discoveries in place for both future technological and advances we make, for future questions we're asking, but also for future generations of scientists. So we don't take it all and rip it all out now, so they can test with technologies we can't even imagine. But we also have discoveries that we have out of the ground. COVID slowed us down a little bit in our ability to move some of these around the planet to laboratories for molecular biology and other technology. But I can assure you that there's a lot to come from this extraordinary and precious cave system. Everyone in the world should travel to Africa and come to places like this that hold the evidence for our common human origin. When you particularly come to this place, and while politicians may have called it the cradle of humankind, it certainly is the richest source for evidence of the common human origin on the planet that we've discovered so far. It will change you. I'd like to sort of put this in perspective. When you come here to Africa to visit us, when you come and share in this journey, you're in the only place in the world that humans and our ancestors are an endemic animal. This is the only place we're indigenous. Everywhere else, we're an invasive species. And you can feel that when you come to places like this.